All right, here we are. It's a Saturday morning. It's time for the Remax Magnolia Real Estate Show with myself, Curtis Pope. And, of course, this week, our special co-host is Paul Smith. How you doing, Paul?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Now, you've got us a special guest, so I'll allow you to do the introduction since you know more than I do.
Sure, yes. Yeah, I'm excited to talk to Curtis today. He owns two companies. One's called Evolv Modular, a new modular manufacturing company based out of Duncan. Are you, Colin?
That's right. It's Colin. Yeah.
You called him Curtis, actually.
Oh, I did. Oh,
you're confusing things. I'm Curtis. He's Colin.
That's right. Okay. And then, he also owns another company called Knightway, and it's a transportation company. Moves modular homes, manufactured homes. I'm excited to talk to him about that too.
Excellent. All right. Well,
thanks for having me, guys.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's always good to get other people's insight and experiences on the program. So I'm glad that Paul has tracked you down here.
Right on. Yeah. No, it's. I'm excited to see what we get into.
So I guess we'll start. Start with how did you get into the modular construction world?
Yeah. Well, first, big shout out to my wife and 6 kids and all my business partners and lots of things we got going on. And it's always I'm not good at telling short stories, so I'll kind of start in the middle. And there's 4 partners inside Knightway. Knightway was our first foray into the modular space. And when I was a project manager, and we all come through, my 4 partners, we're all from the trades, started on the tools. I'm a roofer by trade, red seal roofer. One of us is a red seal carpenter and driver and whatnot. And so when I was working for someone else, I'd already bought my first commercial property, and I'd always had this idea that I wanted to do life and business with my friends. And I was kind of wrestling that out, and I came across this African proverb that was shared with me, and it's really popular now. It said, if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And so that just really resonated with my value set about, man, like life can be really stinking lonely, especially as an entrepreneur, which had already kind of started that journey. Even though I was working for somebody else, I was getting to explore that inside somebody else's business. And so, fast forward a bit, I kind of left that project management role as a commercial roofing manager to return home. And one of my good friends that I'd made at that company, it was Epic Roofing and Exteriors out in Calgary. Incredible guides, incredible business, incredible mentorship they provided us. And we built this friendship. And he said, "Hey, look, when you go out there, like make a place for me, and we'll see if we can figure something out together." And Knightway came up as an opportunity to buy, and because it's Knightway mobile haulers, what it does is it transports and installs mobile homes. So it's not just the transport component, which is the trucking. We also do the installation, and that kind of also lends and leads to a few opportunities to buy and sell used buildings, which is a really kind of unique part of the business. And because you're doing installation, and with our project management background, we started doing some construction projects that's hyper niche inside the installation world. So when you start transporting buildings, it's not just about moving them on the road. That's big and it's complex. But the installation is just another component of that complexity. And so as we got our reps in, that was in 2021. As we got our reps in, we kind of, with our background and our love of real estate, we started to journey down the road of what does it look like to build these homes, which is something when we were kids you kind of dream about. Sounds super glorious about building homes in a factory and then shipping them all over the place. It's actually much more complex, and it's actually not the right solution for all housing developments. Like there's stick frame is still a wonderful way to build a home on site. But what we ended up happening is Knightway is now 3 companies. So it's Knightway Transport and Installation, Knightway Mobile Haulers. That's our transport and installation company. And now we're a licensed builder. So with our 2510 warranty, that's Knightway Developments. That allows us to do pads for people or build a home or do whatever we want with as a customer or as our own customer. And then we have our newest one, which is the budding one, which is Evolv Modular. And so it's a different brand that's on our own property that we own. And what that is it's called an A277 factory. So it's a specific type of modular factory. It's imbued with the same authority that a building inspector would be imbued with, so we can inspect our own homes in a factory setting to a really high quality, and we can build anything. It doesn't just have to be the modular form factor or an ADU, like an accessory dwelling unit. It could be townhouses. It can be a single-family residence. It can be any form factor that makes sense. And those are the three related businesses, and it kind of feels like, can't believe how far we've come, and it also feels like we're just getting started. So
cool. And who's on your team with these companies? Do they work for both companies, or?
That's right. So we just share like one pile of resources, one back end office. It's all the same ownership group across all four companies. So I have showed us my partners, Aaron Toom, Jared Knipshield, and Lucas Neal. I've known Jared and Lucas for over 20 years, and Aaron and I were the ones that were project managers out in Epic together. So we've known each other for 10 or 12 years. We've been to war together. We've all shared some hard life and some tragedy together. So there's been a lot of bonds formed. We try to be the sum of our strengths, not the sum of our weaknesses. So we have very specific ways we interact. Because relationships can be hard to maintain even without business and financials involved. But we're pretty dedicated to each other, and it hasn't been easy, but it's been good.
Cool. And so you have a site-built portion and then an off-site. When is modular the right choice to make?
Well, modular is the right choice when the transport doesn't wipe out, because transport can be very expensive, and when transport and installation doesn't wipe out the deal. Mm-hmm. Modular is the right choice when you need a fixed price and you don't want to have, because when you're building a factory setting, you can fix your prices and get a hard quote on the entire build. And that's also a good time. And then it's the right time when you want to construct when speed's a factor, because you can be doing your civil work like your site works at the same time you're doing your main component of your building. So say you want to build quicker and you want to do your civil, we'll do your civil at the same time you're building inside the factory. That's more capital intensive because usually real estate involves some component of debt, but definitely when speed, factory built homes can be absolutely way faster. But that has a caveat of it has to be like, I would contest that you need to have a vertically integrated solution, because, for instance, building multifamily for modular is still very difficult, and you can build every kind of mistake you make in the factory, you don't get to course correct while you're on site, for instance. And so any factory or any problems that you create in the factory, you just do it however many boxes, say it's 100 boxes, you make that mistake 100 times and you can't course correct till you're on site. Really good project management, they'll tell you when they're on site, they're course correcting all the time. That's what the change order process is for. We don't get to change order a modular building when you're on site. So, that's not fun.
Do you see your long-term vision of Evolv going multifamily, or are you thinking of sticking more to single family?
The long-term vision is to be, part of we really do care about housing. So it's any kind of solution that makes sense, because we're still in our infancy. I could postulate about what we think is going to be the future, but modular, like a multifamily solution, works. I think it doesn't make sense for every region. So yeah, it could be in the future, but we'll take the work that makes sense for us, and we'll also do the work that makes sense. Like, let's say we're going to build our own projects, be our own customer. Well, then we still see the numbers, and it's got to make sense. We're not going to do something that doesn't make sense for us. And that's also the lens we bring to our customers, is what we can say, well, we know exactly if that would be a good deal for you or not. And because we can stick frame as well, because modular is actually more complex, in my opinion, than site build. So if you can build a factory built home, you can definitely build a site built home. So we can have any solution through our Knightway developments arm that makes sense for a customer. It doesn't have to be modular.
Cool.
All right. Well, it's a fascinating, the concept. Like, you have, so many irons and so many fires right now. How do you, concentrate on one thing at a time?
I wouldn't say concentration is my strong suit, but I think so one of the things I learned by being a project manager and starting off a very small division that started off with 4 guys, and 4 years later we were 40 guys, and we were start off like $25,000 flat roofs, and we were doing like 7-figure roofs at the end of that journey, was that at the end of the day, people are looking for anybody that's willing to keep their word. So, and answer their phone. Like, these are superpowers in the trades. So when you can deliver things on time, on budget, which is part of your word, then that's how you keep focus. So for me, I'm kind of have a hyper responsible personality. I'm a people pleaser by nature, so I really hate letting people down. So when I give my word. I try to do whatever I can to do it as right, just, and fair to keep my word. And that's just my own internal way of, how do you say, skirting past my other part of my personality, which is to do a lot of things and have a lot of irons in the fire. But when you give your word, you keep it. And that's a superpower inside the construction world. And that's how we're growing so fast.
Now, it's often said that on the island, people live on island time. Now, does that affect the construction industry too?
No, I don't think so. I think the trades are some of the best working guys. I've worked kind of all over. I think Islanders we live in a tropical rainforest. We build in a sub-Mediterranean, rainforest. So, we work outside. We know how to build right. I think island builders are some of the best on the planet. That's my own bias, but I just think we do it better. And I just kind of disagree with that narrative. So yeah, no, there's some really talented people out here, and you got to be, because there is less trades out here. And if there's an island time, then it's even more impressive that we get stuff done.
Exactly. So if you guys are doing things on your time and doing it the right way, then people working on island time they're not going to get the work.
That's right.
Right. All right. Well, it's about time we take a quick break here. We'll be right back in a couple moments. Now, Paul, if people want more information about your listings and things like that, where can they go?
Remax Magnolia Realty.com.
And Colin, what about you? Where can people go for information about you?
Yeah, Knightway.ca. So KNIGHTWAY.ca is a great place to start. And then you reach out. You can hit me on Twitter, Colin of Canada, and that's my Twitter handle. And yeah, pretty easy to get a hold of.
All right, we're back with more right after this.